on our awning. We're all done our hot dogs. Oh, Leslie.
That'd be so funny.
Seagull speaks English. There he goes. See you, buddy. So we're taking off. So the three of you, my advice is every decision that you make, assume we're coming home in 10 minutes.
Okay. I don't know what decision I make where you wouldn't come home in 10 minutes.
That's the answer I want to hear. Our first trip with our Sport Trek 291 VRK with the rear kitchen. The point of this trip is to obviously live in it for 3-4 days, because as you know,
it's totally different when you're living in it. Yeah.
You'll move stuff. It's like, oh, why did I put this here? That's dumb. Let's move it over to here.
Yeah.
So we'll give you some feedback on our thoughts on the Sport Trek 291 VRK. And we're heading out to a nice lake right close to our house called Wabamun Lake. We've been there many, many times. Mm-hmm. So we're also going to give you maybe a quick little review about Wabamun. You know, maybe a top 3 about the trailer, top 3 about the Wabamun.
Yeah.
About the Wabamun. We'll give you a top 3 pros and cons about our trailer. We'll give you a top 3 pros and cons about Wabamun Provincial Park and Lake. So far, we love everything about the trailer. However, there's one issue that we've run into. One that we never would have thought. It's the shower head. If you've RV'd at all before, you know that you shut off the water when you don't need the water. For example, when you're washing your hair, you're soaping up. To conserve, obviously, water. You only have 6 gallons of hot water, and if you're running it off of your tank, you're gonna run out of fresh water altogether, so you shut it off. Conserve water. This does not have a shut off. I thought maybe this was it. Nope, that's just the different settings between massage and spray and all that stuff. There's no buttons here. There's no buttons here, if you can see that. There's no buttons here, nothing. There is no shut off on this shower. Nothing. I thought maybe these were buttons. Nothing. There's no way to shut this shower off besides the levers. And you know what it's like, once you get your temperature in a shower, if you have to shut it off, you gotta set it again, freeze. So, first modification, brand new shower head. This isn't gonna be a how to install a shower head, because let's face it, it's super simple. Unscrew this, screw that in, shower head's installed. But we have this Oxygenetics. It does have a shut off on it. So there you go, our first RV mod. So I don't know if this will ever make its way to Venture or to Sport Trek, but if you can explain why you don't install showers shower heads, I should say, excuse me, with shut off, let me know. Or if I'm missing something and there is a shut off and I'm just an idiot, you can let me know. I'm okay, but I don't see a shut off here anywhere. We're set up.
Yeah. Loving our new trailer.
Yes, we're gonna be hitting some sunlight here, so we might be overexposed here. Let me just stop for a second. Yeah, we're took a little longer than we thought. Even just leveling our trailer is different for us right now because we've got a Levelmate Pro. I've got those, triangular. They're called Anderson blocks, but ours are the Camco. They're not Andersons. So everything was brand new, and we tried to capture as much of it as we could. What do you think? Did you like the way the trailer was set up? I think the way we set it up at home?
I think I like it better the way it is at this moment. I like it better like how everything has a place. I like how we have extra storage. I like how we have more room. I think we have to get used to the jobs that we usually give our teens to do, and we're not used to doing ourselves. We're going to have to write a list. So I think right now I appreciate all the stuff that they did, which I didn't realize they did.
Yeah, the garbage can holders. I put it together, and the ends are supposed to face out. They were facing in towards each other. I'm like, oh, this is wrong.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Even just like little things like, there's a couple little things that we need to get used to. Like we've never turned off our fridge before, so now we have to remember to turn it back on.
Yeah, we were one of those people that we just let it go to gas. We're gonna make sure our fridge and gas is shut off while we're driving. So our mount system is the actual Starlink in-ground pole, because the top where the Starlink dish clips into is proprietary. We need to get something 3D printed this way. Now I do need a screwdriver. Yeah. In there. You want that one? This is what I'm talking about here. This end right here, where the Starlink has to clip in, that's a proprietary connection by SpaceX. You can get a pole adapter, which has this clip on it, and then it's just a cylinder that you screw into a PVC pipe or something like that. But I opted to go with the actual Starlink in-ground pole, so I think this is sturdy. If we get some wind, this ain't gonna bend. These clips, it's a little underexposed. These clips I ordered from TKO Clamps. You just go on their website. They've got, if you just search Starlink, because the Starlink pole is a standard outside width, about 2 inches, give or take. Then you just let them know if you have a round ladder like us. The standard is 1 inch round, but there are some oddballs that are like square or bigger than 1 inch. You just get these clips, they are rock solid. They do not move. And then the entire pole sits like that. So now we hook up the dish, climb up there, clip it on, and we're good. Climb all the way up. Can you pass that to me? Give a second. I need a better system for this, I think. Like that. You can feed it down through here if we wanted to. but I don't want to feed that wire. We'll just clamp it.
Okay. With the Velcro straps?
Yeah, we'll figure out something.
Okay.
So to keep the cable off the ground, I ordered these. These are neodymium magnets. Just stick those to the bumper and the frame. Just got a little carabiner clip like that. So those go on there, and that ain't coming off. I don't even think you can pull this magnet. I tried. You have to slide it. I don't think you can pull it straight off. That's how strong these magnets are. I'm gonna go here. I've got one here. Take off. One thing you really got to watch are these ends. That's a proprietary end for Starlink. So if it gets busted or dirty or broken, you can't just replace these ends. You can't even get them. You have to buy a new cable. So be careful with those ends. Okay. Keeps it off the ground. I have to wipe it down, I still think, but keeps critters from chewing on maybe too, eh?
I would hope so.
So we fed the cable just through the opening in the slide, lots of room. We were even able to fit the thick end. There's one bigger end, which is the end that goes on the modem / router, and there's the thinner end. We were able to get this through. So we put that through carefully, just turned on the massage, slip that through here. In our case, we're lucky, we got a power outlet right here. So I'm just gonna tuck all this stuff in, the modem in right here. And the one thing I have read about, the biggest complaint if people's dishes stop working is the cable went bad. We don't have a spare cable. I'd like one. The fact that it's getting squished between the slide and it's going to be squished and unsquished several times makes me believe that this cable will at some point die, so we probably should get a spare. Or I think I might actually mount it, cut the cable in half and mount a jack, an RJ45 jack on the outside of the trailer that I could just plug into, and then the modem will sit in here. It's a later project. of my favorite parts about Wabamun is beach, Wabamun Beach.
Absolutely. It's huge. The sand is fairly clean. They have 2 playgrounds, one for little kids, one for older kids.
Huge field right behind the playground. It's probably one of the biggest beaches for a provincial park that I can think of. It has huge washrooms / change rooms.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of picnic areas too with that you can bring firewood and you can have like a hot dog roast, and they're usually open. There's a lot of them. Picnic tables everywhere.
There's a kiosk which is opened periodically. I don't know if they have set hours, but there is a food kiosk that they do have that we've seen open here on several occasions. And they do have canoe boat rentals as well. So quite a bit for, a provincial park.
Yeah.
So we really enjoy it.
Yeah. The lake is really, really big. So there's a lot of boating and fishing also on the lake. There's a boat launch right here, right by the beach. Easy to get to. There's
another boat launch in the town of Wabamun, which is about 5 minutes past the provincial park here. If you're coming on weekends, it's pretty busy.
And there's a very big parking lot. So
yes,
when the parking lot's full, the beach is going to be full.
Yeah, get here early. If it's a nice weekend, get here early. But it's one of our favorite provincial park beaches.
Wabamun means mere in Cree. The lake is 19.2 kilometers long and 6.6 kilometers wide and 36 feet deep. It is known for its very clear water and today is one of the most used lakes in Alberta. On July 18th, 1912, Wabamun became a village. The Wabamun economy was mainly driven by power plants. The Sundance Power Station is still located and operating on the edge of the lake. My dad was hired to work as a power engineer at this plant in 1974, and my mom and dad lived in Wabamun for a short period of time while my dad held this position. In 2009, the village created Franklin Fly, which is Canada's largest dragonfly. The wingspan is 10 meters. The body and head are made from propane tanks, and the wings were made from an airplane. So we're finally back from Wabamun, and it's a beautiful day outside. We had the chance to go through what we enjoyed and what we wanted to change about our trailer and the positive and the negative of Wabamun. So we're just going to share that with you.
Yeah, the first feedback that I would like to give about our Sport Trek 291 VRK might be something specific just to our trailer, but I do want to share it so that anyone else who owns this trailer, you might want to be on the lookout for this. But our griddle slides out in our outdoor kitchen, and the wooden brace at the back of that griddle was actually cracked right from factory. When I slid it out, it leaned down to one end, so I looked in the back, and the 3 pieces of wood that were built as a bracket in the back of that griddle, the one side was cracked and the screws weren't holding anything. It was a pretty simple fix, so I didn't take it back to the dealership. I didn't want to have the trailer sitting there for God knows how long. Something I could fix very, very easily. So actually on the way back from Wabamun, we stopped at my dad's place. We literally drive almost right by it on the way back from Wabamun. And thanks to my dad, he actually had that piece of wood pre-built for us already. He came out to visit us. And so I gave him the old piece of wood, the broken one. Got to his place, he had the piece of wood already pre-built, literally 6 screws. It was put back in, and now it's stronger than ever. So if you have a Sport Trek trailer just like us, check that back wood. It's pretty thin wood that they give you there because it can crack quite easily. So that's the first thing that we noticed about our trailer.
The second thing that we noticed is that we had to replace the shower head, that there was no turn off, so the water just kept running the whole entire time. So if you're on not full hookups, you're going to end up running out of water, or you're going to end up with a full gray tank.
We upgraded our shower head, which we like to do anyway. The next little issue with our trailer is actually not that little of an issue, and it is what we think a pretty major design flaw. Our pantry door, if it were to open while we were traveling, the door actually gets
hung up behind the slide. So if you did not check that pantry door before pushing your slide out, you would probably do some pretty significant damage to your pantry door and or your slide. And above and beyond that, if the pantry door is shaking back and forth as you're driving, the doorknob actually kind of goes right where the window of the slide is when it's in, so you could potentially smash your window. So what we did to remedy this is during travel, we actually bungee cord our pantry doorknob to the stove's handle. And we also had a custom little badge made for our control panel that, a big, red badge that says check slide before we open it, just so that we don't run into a situation that, would cause some pretty significant damage and we're out in the middle of nowhere.
So the last thing that it's minor, but little thing that we're going to have to remedy, we are going to have our littlest, who's 15, sleep with us during this last travel. And so she's going to be staying on the kitchen table, and there's a big skylight in the living room area, which is great because it gives lots of light during the day.
Beautiful.
But unfortunately, it is not blackout or tinted whatsoever. So as soon as that sun comes up at 7 o'clock in the morning, she's going to be wide awake because the sun's going to be shining square in her face.
So we can remedy that quite easily ourselves with some aluminum foil or something like that. But it would have been nice to have seen maybe a blackout blind or an option to put a blackout blind up in there.
So the things that we loved about our trailer, that I think a lot of it was some of our checklist before we bought the trailer needed to have. Lots of storage. Nothing can be worse than having to go camping and you have bags or suitcases or just clutter around because there's no place for it. So this trailer has, I think, some of the best storage that we've seen. And we were going through the RV shows, we were going through RV car lots, and you know what? Nothing can compare. There's cupboards everywhere, easy access, they're big.
We still have empty cupboards.
Absolutely, which has never happened before.
We're still looking, well, what can we put in this cupboard? Because there's nothing in it, so.
Exactly. And on that note, the pantry, they call it a walk-in pantry, and it's not necessarily a walk-in pantry, but it's definitely much bigger than any other pantry that we've had in any other trailer, that's for sure. It's wide and not very deep, so it ends up that you see everything that's in your pantry. It's not that you're unloading at the end of a trip going, oh, I didn't know we had this, because it was shoved in the back. The biggest thing is, and I think the thing that drew us to this trailer, is the coloring. The cabinets aren't dark, they're a light, but they have like a bit of a wash on them, so it's not pure white, so it would look dirty. And just like the flooring is natural, there's lots of windows. I know we said the skylight is a little bit of a problem, but it also lets in lots of light. When you're in your trailer, most likely it's going to be either nighttime or the weather's not so great.
Cloudy.
Yeah. So you want it to be bright.
The other thing that really sold us on this trailer are things that come default right from the factory with Sport Trek. The first one is it's a brand name. It's called RV Airflow Systems. If you have an RV and your air conditioner's on, or you just have your fan on, and some of the vents that are maybe further away from the fan or the air conditioner, they don't really seem to have a lot of airflow in them. It's probably because most RVs do not have very efficient airflow. And there's a bunch of DIY hacks on how to get better airflow for your RV, and those work great. This actually comes with the RV airflow system, which seals off the air intake from the air exhaust, so you don't get any of the mixing of the air, and it directs that air straight into the vents. So even our furthest vent away, which is way in the kitchen, there is lots of air pressure coming out of there. And this RV airflow system really kept our trailer nice and cool when we had the air conditioning on, whereas other trailers that we've owned, you turn the air conditioner on and it would take quite a while to get it cooled down, even just a little bit. The other thing that comes default with this trailer from Venture is the Level Mate Pro. And it's an app that you have on your phone. Once you've set it up, you can back in and you can see right without even getting out of the cab of your truck if your trailer is level or not. And if it's not, you can see exactly how much either the driver or the passenger side needs to come up. And once again, we've got those Camco leveling blocks, so I can just pull up onto those blocks until the bubble shows green, and then we're good to go. So that really made leveling our trailer nice and easy.
Oh yeah.
You can install Level Mate Pro aftermarket on your trailer, and if you don't have one, I really highly recommend installing it because it really makes setting up your trailer a breeze. And once you've leveled it right to left, your front and back, you just sit at the tongue jack, putting it either up or down. You got the app open on your phone, lower it or raise it, bubble turns green, boom, you're level. We used to have a big 4-foot level that would be in the trailer, and I'd wait to hear Roxane yelling at me, good, and they'd be like, was that it? Oh no, and then they went too far, go back up and whatnot. So Levelmate Pro also comes right from factory. This next upgrade isn't default from Venture, but it is an option that our dealership gets on all their trailers, is the tires. You tow long enough, you'll know that tires can be an issue. We've had to, change out flat tires in the middle of a trip before, and luckily I keep everything that we need to change out the flat tires right in the truck, but it can be quite a bit of a hassle. Worst case, you can have a blowout, and there's some pretty horrific stories of blowouts taking out, electrical, gas lines and all that kind of stuff. And that's because quite often these trailers do come with lower grade, we'll call it, tires. Our trailer came with the Goodyear Endurance tires, which is a very, very, very good tire. Now, that's not to say they can't pick up a nail or they can't, get a flat by any means, but there's certainly a much better chance that these will survive much longer than some of those other default factory trailer tires. So for this season, we're going to be traveling pretty much through the mountains. We're going to be heading to Jasper, going to heading to Banff, Calgary, Drumheller, Vancouver, Lake Louise. If you want to see some highlights of those trips, we would really appreciate if you hit the subscribe button. If you have any questions, any comments about anything that we've said or done, leave it below. We've been more than happy to answer them and get back to you. All right, and with that, hopefully we'll see you in the next video.